Okay.
We're all here. I can start reading the questions out first since you guys did the play.
I can like lead it after you're done if you want.
Okay. So it says first as a group, please determine the crux of this case study.
The what?
CRUX.
CR.
Yeah.
Crux.
It's kind of like the.
Crux.
It's like the. Let me actually Google it.
Position or the decisive or most important point at issue.
Yeah, like kind of like the main.
So I would say conflict of communication between an authority, like which is Javier, and what's her name? I have her name right here, Claire.
Yeah.
So how do we want to start it?
So, and then it says, what are this is still part of the first question. What are the key issues of continent between Claire and Javier, and what are they fundamentally disagreeing on?
So Javier informed the team and Claire that they'll be opening up an office in Guadalajara. So I'm assuming that they're already in Mexico, or no, not Mexico, South America, somewhere.
Okay. I didn't know where they were. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, me either.
I couldn't tell where they're at either. I just saw. I'm assuming that's where they'd be going then, Guadalajara.
Yeah.
That's where the office is being opened up. And he was telling. Well, it actually starts with Claire's point of view. After he informs them of the new office that'll be opening up in Guadalajara, and I think the members that he's talking to, he's letting them know that they'll be going to that office, where it's separate offices. They'll each have their own office, and I would say that the first point of like Claire's the one to like call him out that communications, the whole point of corporate communication group is to facilitate communication. So she's in disagreement of them moving into a less, how could I say,
Spacious.
Yeah,
that was the last question too. On number one is what are they fundamentally disagreeing on?
Yeah, so Claire's disagreeing on the move to, not necessarily maybe the move, what I got from it, but more that they won't be kind of in that same area of the office, I'm assuming, where it's easily accessible to reach other, colleagues that they're working with, because I guess they're in corporate communication. So.
All right, Nicole, I'm going to turn it around. Can you guys hear her okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Claire says that they'll be out of touch with the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I said the same thing, to be honest.
Nicole, do you want me to reread the first question?
No, I have not. But I agreed. I think that the main issue was that there was going to be a lack of communication since they're having their own private offices compared to what they had before. She wasn't a fan of that.
And I'm not trying to talk a lot, but in Javier's point, just to kind of like follow up on that ending part of the first question, he's saying this is the best solution to the overcrowding problem that they face. So they must have an overcrowding problem in the office that they're in currently. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that they're not disagreeing on moving offices. I don't think she's opposed to moving offices. I think she's opposed to separating everybody.
Yeah, and the space that they'll be in.
Yeah, it's kind of separating everybody for a weird reason, because like she was talking about how it would be smarter for them to work from home if they're going to be separated and not around each other anyways. So I feel like she thought he had some malicious intent for moving them, and she was just trying to make sense of everything. And he was being very vague with her and just telling her this is what we came to conclusion to and wasn't really giving her a reason why. So I think that they were disagreeing on something beyond moving offices.
Possibly. And we don't know their relationship prior to this.
Yeah.
So I think that's another key thing. We don't know the relationship of anybody in that office. So we have to go based on this small conversation.
Okay.
That's number 2.
We're on number 2.
Yeah.
So it says between the two perspectives, direct versus indirect, which do you most identify with? Which style is more similar to your way of handling the situation in the case study?
So
Go first.
I would say I'd probably be direct. Just because, like, if it's like an open panel, like between, like, I guess he's like the boss, I'm assuming, and they're like the workers and stuff. So I'm assuming he's just making it like I'm pretty sure he was gonna have some type of reaction from people from this decision. But what gets me is how he said he spoke to people privately and he discussed it with them. So like that got me confused, because if that's the case, then why is Claire now bringing it up, like these issues of being outdated and
yeah, clearly she wasn't informed, like, and he didn't talk to her in private, so maybe he was just speaking to the people he wanted to speak to. So that, I think, goes back again to their relationship
yeah.
and the communication that they have.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
What-
I was sorry. I was going to say I'd be more direct too. I didn't really answer the question, but yeah, direct. I was just a little confused on, they showed, I mean, I guess he was indirectly communicating with all of them because he wasn't filling everybody in.
Yeah.
I would assume, because then it showed her talking after that, and she was the direct communication, or the direct communicator, and
Yeah.
I think they're saying that by her letting him know basically how she feels. I don't know.
Yeah. I personally identify with being indirect more, because I feel like I'm not a confrontational person. Like I hate confrontation, and I feel really awkward when people fight or anything like that. I just don't like that at all. So I think I respect people that are more direct. It's better for business. It's more appreciated. But like me personally, I'm like such an indirect person. Like I will never tell someone if they're doing something wrong, because I just feel bad about it. So I'm like, that's
I feel like, yeah, we all have our own direct and indirect ways. I don't feel like one person is necessarily like,
one or
I
the
mean,
other.
they could say they are, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like there's things that everybody does communicating with different people where they're direct and indirect.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree with that. I feel like I'd be more of like, by myself, more indirect. But then I also do like getting straight to the point, and that's something that when you're direct with what you do. But like, I'm very awkward too, and I do not like confrontation whatsoever. So I agree with you, Ellie, on that.
Mhm. Like I think it's good to be direct. Like what Claire was saying, like I wouldn't have the balls to say. Sorry about my language, but like she was very gutsy and out there, and that's what people like in business. And it just shows that she loves her job and she appreciates what she does. But I think two people that are very direct like that and have opposite opinions won't get along at all. So it's difficult when you being direct is good, but it's difficult when you have two people that are that direct.
I think they should have talked privately with each other if she was going to be that upset about it.
Right, yeah.
She did not seem happy.
But then again, she might be like, she might be talking for, like, speaking up for everyone that doesn't have the guts, like I said, to talk like that and that do agree with her, because I'm sure there's a lot of people in that company that agree with her. She was making a lot of sense. So I think she just wanted her voice heard in front of everyone so that she could get some people to side with her as well. Okay, question number 3. How would you advise Javier in this situation? What do you think he should do or should have done? So how would you guys advise Javier?
So probably have him tell her, because apparently she didn't get the memo like everyone else did. And then I feel like you should have explained it more in depth as why they were doing that and like how he thinks it's going to benefit them, so they can understand the reasoning behind it.
When it says how would you advise Javier, does that are they asking? Is she asking like what advice would you give him in this situation, or how would you go about talking to him in this situation? You guys know? How would you advise Javier?
How would you what again? I'm sorry.
I'm asking, is the question asking how we would go about reacting to Javier, or is it how we would give him advice on the situation?
I mean, I guess we could answer both.
Yeah, I guess.
Advice-wise, I could say maybe better communication on his part as an authority in their workplace or management.
Prior communication rather than hitting them with it and getting their opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prior to making just this impulsive decision of saying, "Oh, hey, this is happening," because from my assumption, it was still happening regardless if Claire liked it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he said like that he felt that like she was contradicting him in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he shouldn't.
Probably felt the same way when because they're both talking to each other and disagreeing, so it probably felt like that for both of them. What do you guys think that you could have done in this situation?
I mean, I read like now, but when I did it the first time, I said that he should have talked to Claire after the meeting.
Yeah.
He feels that way, and they could have gone on to like a more deeper conversation into like, you know, why Javier feels that way and why he's pushing it so much. And her too, like why is she pushing it so much?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I see what you're saying, like she could be the voice of the office. Maybe other people in the office feel the same way she does, so she was gonna be the one to say it.
Yeah. Are we ready for the next question? Or Nicole?
Yeah, are you guys able to hear me on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I already said that I think that he should have told her to decide to talk to her, and I think he should have been in more depth for the reasonings why they were doing that, so that way they don't understand it more. Because I feel like he didn't explain it too well, other than just that it was an overall decision to do to benefit the company.
Yeah. Okay, how would you advise Claire in this situation? What do you think she should have done different?
Maybe not addressing him in front of everybody, like making a scene.
Yeah.
Like she automatically probably made the situation even worse by, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being direct like she was, because I said that I would be more like that, but I think there's like a time and a place for it, and she could have been more direct in a personal setting where it was just him and her speaking, like Marissa was saying, in an office, like separate from that conversation.
I think she could have been fine being direct as she was, but I think the way she says it could be different. She just kind of seemed very just mad from the start, rather than just asking simple questions. It just kind of seemed like he was attacking him for it, in my opinion.
Okay. What did I say? Oh, I said like I understand her concern, but I could have seen that discussion being privately between them two as well. Like, yeah, I see her direct side, but I could have seen that conversation going privately.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if we understood their relationship prior to this, it would have helped a lot too. Because if he was just like a rude manager and didn't really care about his employees ever or anything, like it'd be different, and people would be like applauding her for speaking up to him. But I think that like she did that because he was just scared. Like, you know, it's her job, it's her career, and I don't know. I didn't really understand like if did she have to move to Guadalajara? Is that what was going on? Because they're moving the offices there? Like, I don't know. I get where she's coming from, and I don't really think there's anything she could have done too differently. Like I get what you guys are saying when you said she could have had the conversation privately, but when someone just throws that kind of information at you that like, hey, our company is doing all this and we're moving and you have to move countries or whatever is going on, it probably just shocked her, freaked her out, and she wanted to speak with him before it was too late.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a similar experience in your life? What happened and what did you do?
I would say I had an experience like that. I just don't.
No, it's for one of my classes. Oh. I'll be right there. All right. Sorry, guys.
What were you saying, Nicole? Sorry.
I think that I'm sure we've all had experienced something similar to it in the workplace about just having a conversation of something changing. And like I know for me, when I worked at an apartment complex, we had to get a whole new system, and a new guy came in who I was definitely been there the longest, and I knew the old system and the way everything worked there, and he was completely new to everything, and we switched the systems that we'd use, so he was new to it also, but he came in with like an alpha kind of personality, so we butt heads a lot when it came to things and trying to explain how things work, and I guess it was more like direct towards each other when we did talk, because we just went to exactly point to point for a while doing those things, but it wasn't positive at all.
Yeah.
I actually just had like a situation like that happen to me like this past weekend at my bartending job. There's like 5 bartenders, but only 4 of us share it equally. The 5th one, she gets like a different amount because she's like technically new, but now she's been there for quite some time, so they wanted to give her like split it into 5 equally, but like our managers didn't inform us, like our bar manager did, but like I wish that like our owner and our manager, general manager, would have explained it to us more than our bar manager. So yeah.
So
Sorry, go.
I was just gonna ask, what was that? Was that last question asking us like our own situation?
Yeah, have you had any similar experience like your life, like this in your life, and what happened and what did you do?
Probably, yeah, just in the workplace. I worked tech support at ASU. Kind of like when I first started going there, and they were just, some of the management wasn't direct with what they wanted to, like what they wanted done in each classroom, and that kind of put staff and the student workers in a bad spot because they weren't directly letting us know what they wanted. And I mean, in a way they did, but I don't know. It was just, I felt like it was real indirect of them, and not that there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like if you're overseeing a group of employees, you need to be a little bit more direct because you're leading them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. In that instance, I guess. But
I've had an experience in the workplace too, because I also work in a restaurant, and my experience was the same situation where like the manager came out and he was very, very direct, and he told us that our restaurant is shutting down, and that this was on a Friday, and he said tomorrow, Saturday, is your last day working here, all of you, because we can't afford the rent anymore. The owners can't.
Jeez.
And so what happened was the next day we all made the best of it. We all came to work, and they helped. The owners felt really bad, and they helped us all find a new job. They gave us all good recommendations, but it is scary, like when things change with your, not that like a restaurant's like a career, but it was my job, and it's crazy when things happen like that. But I think in all, like it is better for your management to be more direct. He did tell us right away, like the owners, they couldn't pay their rent because they went into partnership with another couple who bailed on them, and it's just, I think it's better for them to tell the truth, which I feel like Javier wasn't doing in this situation. I feel like Javier was being very skeptical and misleading, and he wasn't really he was leaving everyone in the dark.
Yeah,
So
especially if
the
you're
difference in that situation of mine was we were told the truth, and
yeah, especially if you're dealing with like other people's lives. If it doesn't directly affect them, they don't. I mean, if it affects them to an extent, but if it doesn't like affect them, like how you said your instance, I mean, I'm sure that those owners were still probably fine after that.
yeah.
I mean, but I don't know. I guess it just depends on the situation.
Last question is if you. Oh, what time are we at?
We're like hitting like almost 20 minutes.
Okay. If you had to agree on a principle or a guideline for dealing with intercultural situations like this, what would it be?
Mm.
I think that if I had to agree on a principle or a guideline, it would be give everyone enough notice and tell them the truth about what's going on. Don't leave
Yeah.
them in the
Yeah,
dark.
so like better communication, I'd feel like strong communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like, just your regular workers.
Mm-hmm. Nicole?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You're good.
I agree. I was
Okay.
going to say communication, I think, is the key. And I feel like they lacked it in this situation. So I think that would be what my guideline would be, is just to have stronger communication.
Okay.
Agreed. I think we have to say after we're done with the question, right?
Yeah.
I think we have to like say who's leading. I feel like technically we all led.
Yeah, then the next part it says we need to figure out who's going to submit the recording. So Marissa, you're going to do that, correct?
Yeah.
And then what day and time will we have our next meeting at?
Do you guys want to do that through our chat?
I think it's part of the chat.
Oh, is it? Dang. Okay.
I think we could just like shoot for what did we try? What did we try this past Wednesday?
Yeah.
Is everybody good Wednesday? Like Wednesday?
What time Wednesday do you guys want to do?
This sounds like such a dumb excuse, but my birthday's Tuesday night, so I think I'm going to go out that night. So I don't want to do early in the morning on Wednesday, if that's okay with everybody.
I could do after 5.
Yeah, I can do nighttime Wednesday.
I've been on Wednesday.
Yeah, nighttime for Wednesday is good for me too.
Okay.
And then who's going to be responsible for leading the case study discussion? Jalen.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right.
All right, cool.
Cool.
All right, so we're good to go. I'm going to stop broadcasting right now.
Okay. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.